This week, PAIA, the Liberty breach, OpenAI pulls out of Sora, and AI agents debating each other. Welcome to Priviso Live. Good day, and welcome back to Priviso Live, your weekly look at all things information security, ICT legislation, and artificial intelligence. South African style. I'm Lyn.
I'm Stephen.
And I'm Kayla. And brace yourselves because this week's lineup is a good one.
We've got the PAIA Annual Report season opening next week. And if you're an information officer, you really do not want to miss this one.
Then we're talking about Liberty's data breach. This is the March 2026 one, not the 2018 one. So yes, it has happened again.
After that, OpenAI has officially pulled the plug on Sora, and we'll unpack what that means for the AI industry.
And we're ending on a lighter note with something called the OpenAI Roundtable. Stephen, let's just say you'll relate to it on a deeply personal level.
I'm already bracing myself, Lyn.
Right, let's start with a compliance matter that affects every registered organization in South Africa, public and private. The Information Regulator has issued its annual notice calling on all bodies to submit their PAIA annual reports for the 2025-2026 financial year.
Now, for those who may not deal with PAIA on a daily basis, PAIA stands for the Promotion of Access to Information Act, number 2 of 2000. It is the legislation that gives South Africans the constitutional right to access information held by both government and private bodies. Essentially, your right to ask, what information do you hold about me, and how are you using it?
And every year, organizations that receive those requests are required to report back to the Information Regulator on how they handled them, how many requests came in, how many were granted, how many were refused, that sort of thing. It is a transparency mechanism with real teeth.
The submission window opens on the 1st of April 2026, which, yes, is April Fool's Day, and closes on the 30th of June 2026. Now, here is the critical bit. Your organization must already be registered with the regulator before you can submit. You cannot rock up on the 29th of June and try to register and submit in one sitting. The process is done online through the eServices portal at eservices.inforegulator.org.zai.
They do have guides available, and there is an iSupport portal for technical problems. But the message is clear. Do not leave this to the last minute. Registration must come first.
The notice was signed by Mr. Mosalanyani Mosala, CEO of the Information Regulator, just 3 days ago, on the 25th of March. So this is, quite literally, brand new, hot off the press.
The bottom line, if you haven't registered with the regulator's eServices portal yet, do it now, today. Don't be the one calling the regulator in July wondering why the system won't let you submit.
Get registered, know your numbers, and get that report in well before the 30th of June.
And now to a story that has sent shockwaves through South Africa's information security community this past week. Liberty Group, the insurance and investment arm of Standard Bank, has confirmed a data breach. An external threat actor gained unauthorized access to Liberty's IT infrastructure and extracted data. We are not talking about generic corporate information. We are talking about customer emails, attachments, identity numbers, and names, personal data at scale.
Let's pause on ID numbers for a moment because people sometimes underestimate just how sensitive that information is. Your South African ID number is used to verify your identity for financial services, government systems, medical records, and a whole host of other services. If someone has that number, they potentially have the key to open doors that should very firmly be closed.
And in this case, those identity numbers belong to Liberty's clients, people who trusted an insurer with their most personal information. That is a significant breach of that trust.
The attackers then attempted to extort Liberty, essentially threatening to release the stolen data unless a payment was made. Liberty refused to comply, which is generally the correct stance from a security governance perspective. But the risk remains that some of this data could still surface.
Liberty has stated that there is no evidence of financial losses to clients and that their services remain fully operational. However, the Information Regulator has acted swiftly. They have requested an urgent meeting with Liberty's CEO to understand the full extent of the breach, what interim measures have been put in place, and critically, whether affected clients have been properly notified.
And that notification obligation is non-negotiable under PAIA, the Protection of Personal Information Act. Section 22 of PAIA is very explicit. If your personal information has been compromised, you have a right to be informed. It is not optional. I suppose it would be worth asking any Liberty clients listening to the show whether they have been notified.
The lesson for security practitioners here is direct, but uncomfortable. Do you have an incident response plan that specifically covers extortion? Not just a technical containment plan, but a governance framework. Who is authorized to make the call on whether to pay or not? What are your legal obligations hour by hour? What notifications must go to the regulator, and within what time frame? These are questions to answer at a tabletop exercise in a calm room, not at 2 a.m. when your CISO is calling you in a panic.
And this is sadly not Liberty's first encounter with this kind of incident. They experienced a significant breach in 2018 as well. This is a sobering reminder that cybersecurity is not a once-and-done exercise. It is ongoing, it requires constant vigilance, and it demands investment.
Shame for their security team right now, genuinely. We will keep watching this story as the regulator's investigation progresses.
Moving on, OpenAI has officially shut down Sora.
Wait, Sora, the text-to-video tool?
The very one, Stephen. Less than 2 years ago, OpenAI unveiled Sora to the world, and it was a genuine jaw-dropper. You'd type something like a golden retriever fishing at Betty's Bay at sunset, and Sora would produce a strikingly realistic video clip from that single sentence. People genuinely could not believe what they were seeing.
And now it has been quietly retired.
OpenAI told the BBC this week that they are discontinuing both the Sora consumer app and the professional platform, and that they are no longer going to develop video generation tools at all. The reason? They want to shift their focus to robotics and agentic artificial intelligence.
What do they mean by agentic?
Agentic AI is artificial intelligence that can complete multi-step tasks on your behalf autonomously with minimal human oversight. Think less, generate a picture, and more plan my trip, book the flights, draft the itinerary, and send the meeting invites. AI that actually does things in the world rather than simply producing content.
And at the same time, OpenAI is winding down its $1 billion content partnership with Disney. Disney's response was measured. They said they respect the decision and will look to other AI platforms that allow them to use the technology responsibly without infringing on intellectual property rights.
$1 billion partnership, just like that. That is not a small strategic pivot.
It is a massive shift. But it does suggest that OpenAI sees the real future and probably the real commercial value in AI that acts as an autonomous agent, rather than in content generation tools.
And for our South African practitioners, many organizations have been evaluating AI video tools for marketing, training, and communications. The landscape has just changed meaningfully. This is worth factoring into your AI strategy planning. Right now to something that is genuinely delightful. And I say that because it is both useful and deeply entertaining. Kayla, tell us about Oppa.ai.
So imagine you have a question, an important question, and instead of asking one AI model, you ask up to 50 AI models the exact same question at the same time under identical conditions. All of them.
Is this like asking the entire IT department the same question and just watching what happens?
Stephen, it is literally exactly like that, except the models cannot go off to make tea halfway through. Oppa's AI Roundtable, it's at oppa.ai/roundtable, lets you pick up to 50 models from a pool of over 200. ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok, all of them in the same virtual room answering your question independently and simultaneously.
And they all answer independently?
They do. And then there is a debate mode. You pick up to 6 models. And they actually engage with each other's reasoning. They can challenge each other's positions, and this is the bit that really gets me. They can even change their own position based on what another model argues, which is either very impressive or slightly unsettling, depending on your perspective.
What if they all agree on something wrong?
Stephen, that would just make it a board meeting, and it is completely free, by the way. So this weekend, you could ask 50 AI models whether your organization should move to the cloud and watch the chaos unfold in real time.
That would be exactly like our last architecture steering committee. We also reached no conclusion.
I cannot confirm or deny that, Stephen. But genuinely, from a practitioner's standpoint, this is a useful tool for benchmarking how different models approach the same problem, identifying where there is real consensus and spotting where models meaningfully diverge. Check it out, oppa.ai. The link will be in the show notes. And there you have it. This has been Priviso Live. Thank you so much for joining us.
Get those PAIA reports in, folks. The 1st of April is right around the corner. And no, that's not an April Fool's joke.
Watch This Space on Liberty and go play with Opera this weekend. It's a Saturday well spent.
We hope you found today's episode interesting. If you did, please share it with your colleagues, your friends, your family. Word of mouth is a strong driver of podcast growth.
If you want to hear more of the same, subscribe to Priviso Live on Apple, Samsung, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or YouTube.
And if you need security, risk, or ICT legislation advice, contact Priviso Consulting directly at admin@priviso.co.za.
And if you have topics you'd like us to cover or questions about anything we discussed today, reach out to us. We love hearing from our listeners.
I'm Stephen.
And I'm Kayla. Thanks for listening.
Stay secure.
Stay safe.